Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
I cannot wait, Sean, for this. And this is going to sound funny, but for the show to be over, because I have been on like full tilt for since probably Monday or even Sunday with the Breeders' Cup stuff. And this is going to be, when this show is over, it's going to be the first opportunity for me to just exhale and take a rest. I've written probably 13,000 words, maybe more, since Monday, 20-page PDF. So make sure you head over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet if you're going to bet the Breeders' Cup. Check out that report, man. It covers every damn thing you can think of when it comes to the Breeders' Cup. So it should be, not just the Breeders' Cup, but every single race at Del Mar over the next 2 days that has a stakes race with $100,000 purse or more. So there's, I think, there was 12 races on Saturday. There's 10 races on Friday, so that's 22. Two of those races, only two, don't qualify. So there's 21 races. It was an insane amount of work, but it's all done now.
Well, and if you're watching the show and you're not really big on horse racing, but you're going to play this weekend because it's, a big money pool, it is definitely something to buy. It's well worth the money to help yourself win some money at the horses.
Hopefully, right? Don't put the heat on me, Sean. You do that all the time. Oh, texting me. You got this one. No, I won't.
I almost just did it with that pick 5. I was going to text you, I need these horses. And I went, you know what? Never works out good when I do that.
No, but we could see coming down the stretch. You told me what numbers you needed. I told you about a 16th out, which horse was going to win.
Yeah, well, I was getting set up and everything else. So I'm kind of seeing, it was trying to do too much, but
well, let's see who's going to win the night in football, Sean. The NFL's rolling right into week number 9 already?
Yeah.
I have to say, because of all the stuff I've been doing over the last couple of days, it's been, I don't even know what day it is. So that's the crazy thing. All right. So we have the New York Jets versus the Indianapolis Colts. What a great game for Thursday night, Sean. Two teams that strangely, I think the Jets have one win, something like that.
2 wins. They're 2-5.
They're 2-5. Wow. And the Colts are 3-5.
Yeah. So
who would have thought the Jets were almost as good as the Colts?
Yeah.
Well, that's what Carson Wentz will do for you.
Yeah, I was going to say his fumbles, his interceptions, his just let's throw it up in the air and pray. Let's hope he does that tonight. I like the Jets with the 10.5, and that's not me. I'll gladly go against the Jets I'll gladly go against the Jets.
Homer, don't ever trust a homer.
But when your team has momentum and they responded to Mike White,
momentum.
Well, I'm just saying,
one win is momentum.
They had all the excitement.
You know what? In the NFL, you're probably right, Sean. One win is momentum.
When you have an exciting win like they did Sunday against the Bengals, what's the best thing you could do?
They're going to lose the next game.
Well, maybe, but
that's what they're going to do.
Take the field again. You know what I mean? Live off. So 10.5 is too much.
Is it 10? 10.5? I see.
I see 10 now.
It's 10.5. Yeah, so you can get 10.5 still for -110, Sean. I think 10.5 is just, that's just about spot on, Sean. I do think that the Colts win. I know it's not a 10.5 point favorite auto win, but I think that the Jets probably do eke it out at the end. Maybe you're going to get a meaningless field goal like the Jets did to me against Atlanta in England and cover.
Yeah, it's possible. I know I did see
now you're making it official? You're going to take it official? I thought you had a rule that you don't bet on your teams because you couldn't bet on Atlanta in the World Series. And if you had done it, they were probably the they went 6 games. I'd say Atlanta was probably the underdog in at least 4 of them.
And I picked them in 2, and both of them, I picked them in 2 or 3 throughout the playoffs, and every single one they lost. So that's why I stopped when it got to game 6. I did not.
Someone from Atlanta knock on your door?
Yeah, they told me to knock it off. But
they probably should.
I try to avoid the Jets games, but here, Thursday night, 10.5. That spreads too much.
That's a lot for the NFL. Unquestionably, no matter how bad the Jets are, no matter how wonderful Mike White is, so good that the Cowboys let him go in favor of Cooper Rush. Ooh. But in any
Cooper
case,
Rush played well too.
He played okay. He didn't play well. He played okay. He had a couple big plays in there that worked out well. One really nice throw across the middle to Cedric Wilson that ended up in the big play. But, I mean, did he play well, or are the Vikings just not that good? You figure it out.
Both. I always said the Vikings are that team that are so talented, and me and you could show up and they would find a way to only win by a field goal. It's just how they are. I don't know. They got to change something there, coaching or something, because, it might be the Kirk Cousins effect too. I mean,
could be.
Seems to be something with his career. I did find a player prop on FanDuel that's a boost. Michael Carter and Jonathan Taylor both to score a touchdown, up to plus 400. I think that's. I mean,
Derrick Henry had a really rough time running against these guys, so I don't know what Michael Carter is going to do.
Well,
I hope his foot holds up, unlike like Derrick Henry, because it's on my fantasy team. I think I don't know what's his Michael Carter's over under on catches. I think that's kind of where you want to look, because they dump down to him constantly.
They do.
He gets more targets than any of the Jets wide receivers.
Well, his receiving yards is 37.5. Total receptions are 4.5, but that's at minus 136.
Yeah, well, I think he's likely to get targeted enough to catch it 5 times. I'm not going to play it because minus 136 is too low. I do agree with you, Sean. Jets probably cover, but not by enough to make a wager on it. The total on this game is 46. Sean, what do you think about that?
It's right. That's right where it should be, and I don't feel safe either way. Yeah, I'm not going to touch it at all.
Not going to touch that one. So I have the game going over almost by enough to actually think about doing it, Sean. I would like the line to come down a little bit, but I'm not really going to go there. As far as the money is concerned, Sean, 60% of the tickets, almost the same amount of the money is on the Jets. They feel like the game is absolutely a line that's too big, which almost makes me worry a little bit. And then as far as the total is concerned in that spot, Sean, most of the folks that are actually making their wagers are deciding to go ahead and take the under actually most of the tickets are on the over. Over 60% of the tickets are on the over, but over 75 cents on the dollar is on the under. So the so-called wise guys are loading up on the game going under, and that's probably why the line has moved down a little bit from 47 where it opened up.
I will say, I mean, I probably would feel safer with the over than the under, just because Mike White's thrown it all over the yard, and he has turned the ball over, and Wentz, we keep talking about it, keeps turning the ball over. So that creates a lot of opportunities to score points. So
touch the guy and he fumbles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throwing it with his left hand.
Did you see that one interception he threw? Oh my Lord, that was just terrible.
Yeah,
right
with
half.
Yeah.
I mean, for the end of the game to give the Titans the
it
lead.
was either. Well, he double clutched, and at that point it was too late, and he was either going to give up a safety, which was going to be no good, or he was going to do what he did. So he screwed up from the beginning of that play, and that was the end there. And
just spike it in the ground and say my running back's right there, because the running back was right there.
Yeah, it was a screen. Yeah.
Anyway, next up on it's a little bit more football, maybe not as high quality. You have Georgia State versus number 24. They started the season ranked, and then they got beat, and then they moved out of the rankings. Now they're back in the rankings. The Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns against, I don't know what the Georgia State mascot is, but whatever it is, it can't be as cool as a Raging Cajun.
No. I would do a heavy lean on Louisiana Lafayette giving up the points, but I'm not going to make that official. Sometimes it's Louisiana Lafayette. I mean, they can score a lot of points, and then there's other times they just struggle with bad teams. So I'd stay away from it.
I think that to me, it's pretty close to both ways on this particular game. For me, it's pretty close that the Georgia State can cover that. It's 13, 12.5, 13. It's pretty close on that, but not close enough for me to take it, Sean. You know me, I'm a chicken. If I don't get exactly what I'm looking for, I kind of stay away, although that's not helped me that much as of late. The total in this game, Sean, is 54 now. The line is moving up a little bit, 53.5. I have this game going under by a little more than a touchdown, Sean. The question is, to me, I know Louisiana Lafayette can put up some points, but Georgia State's put up about 35 points a game too. Their defense is letting up about 15 a game, somewhere in there. At least that's according to the way I do it, the expected points. So it's kind of interesting to me. I feel like this game has a really good, because if both teams hit their max, it's around 72 points, which is kind of high. But then you got to factor in both teams will play defense. I'm close to taking the under here.
Yeah, the problem is that Louisiana Lafayette offense can really roll. So I wouldn't touch it, but if I would touch it, I'd take Louisiana Lafayette over 33.5. If you're
Over 33.5.
That's what the line's set at. Yeah.
Well, over 33.5 in a game at 54. That's a good ask. I don't know. I have the game going under, so I'd probably lean more towards Georgia State going under. What's their total?
It's only 19.5.
Whew, that's a close one. I can't do that either because you get one interception or one fumble for a touchdown. I'm close to taking the under, Sean. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stick to my discipline because when I don't, I end up usually on the wrong side of things, which is not where I want to be. As far as the game is concerned, most of the people are taking Louisiana Lafayette, laying that 10.5 points, most of the money, 3/4 of the money, 3/4 of the ticket. And as far as the game is concerned, most of the tickets, a little over 55%, are on the over, but more than 60 cents on the dollar is on the under. So it looks like the smart money is thinking like I am, that this game is probably one where the game is going to go under. So far, I'm not doing anything, Sean. We got a handful of games in the NBA tonight. First up on the board, you have the Philadelphia 76ers on the road against the Detroit Pistons. I took an over in the game with the Pistons the other day. It missed by 2 buckets, which made me mad because I went 0 for 3 in the NBA that day and missed 0 for 3 by a combined like 4 buckets or something like that. It was just one of those nights where you can't believe not one of them is going to go in. And then the Detroit had like historically bad night shooting threes that night. So if they had just like a terrible night, I would have went over. What do you think about the Sixers and the Pistons?
I'm going to take the Sixers, giving them 4.5. I don't understand why. I mean, we saw it the other day. Milwaukee had some injuries, and they were favored by 5.5. We were hesitant, and they went in and blew them out.
They straight up ass-whooped them.
And the Sixers, I know Harris is out. There might be another player or two out, but they've been beating better teams with these same players out. So, again, I'm kind of curious by the line. Detroit's just bad. So, and the Sixers have been playing good team ball even without some players. So I'll give up the points.
So right now the line is 5.5, Sean. So you can take the Philadelphia, the numbers are pretty bad. What are you seeing on DraftKings? Are you seeing 6?
I see 4.5 on FanDuel.
And what's that? 4.5 for what?
And I see 4 on DraftKings minus 115.
Well, take the 4 for minus 115. What's 4.5?
It was minus 110, so I'll just do the minus 4 for minus 115.
Yeah, might as well. It's just I don't know, half a point. They're not going to. They're either going to blow them out, or I don't see the game being that close if Philadelphia wins. I don't really have a side in that game. I can't bet Detroit after what they did to me the other night. So the next game on there, would you like anything as far as the total is concerned there, Sean? The total in that game between Philadelphia,
that's low.
Is 2-8. Yeah, 8.5. That's really low.
It's low, but it's low because of what you said about Detroit. So, and the Sixers play really good defense too.
Yeah, Detroit can't. I've been watching some NBA this year, a little bit here and there. I'd rather play than watch, to be honest with you, basketball. But some of it's like borderline unwatchable. I mean, it's everybody shooting threes. They're clanking them off the rim. There's no maybe I'm spoiled. I grew up in the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Dominique Wilson, Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, Stockton, Malone era, when there were high flying guys and great great duos that were able to. I mean, Stockton to Malone. It's almost it's almost like imprint in your brain. You don't really see much of that. You see a bunch of guys running to the corner, getting shots, taking a half a step, flipping their head up, trying to get fouled in the lane, and just casting 3 after 3. And if they make their threes, the game is okay to look at. But, man, when they clank like 20 in a row, now I understand how teams only score 8 points in a quarter because they're shooting 44 threes and making 2 of them.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, and I'm glad they got rid of some of that this year, is that makes it unwatchable is the flopping and the acting to get fouled and all this stuff.
Trey Young's still getting away with that stuff. I saw him the other day. The guy didn't come close to him, and he did and they gave him 2 free throws.
I'm fine with the other stuff. I'm fine with the threes. You just have to know, though, if you're off, you're off. I don't mind. I don't mind that we're not playing Bill Laimbeer, type basketball where the guys like body slamming them on the floor. Like, I'm okay with that stuff, but the acting and the fact that they don't want to call travels, that too. Like, if you're taking four steps,
who is Dominique Wilkins right now?
Who is he now?
Who is it? Who goes in the lane and just like mad flushes in somebody's face after like putting the ball up and down, double pump and over the shoulder and just saying, here, boom, what are you going to do? Who is that guy now?
I don't know. I mean, maybe Giannis.
Who's Vince Carter? He doesn't dunk like that. He just goes up and goes boom. There's no style or flair to what he's doing.
Yeah. There's definitely no Vince Carter.
Yeah, there's none of that stuff anymore. It was like a competition. I mean, tell me, Scottie Pippen dunking on Patrick Ewing or Starks on Pippen. Where do you see that anymore? It was almost like gladiators trying to see which one can just whoop the other one by just flat out flushing the ball over him and saying, "Here, smell this." Anyway, enough of that. Miami versus Boston. Well, no, that's going to go Utah versus Atlanta next, Sean. The Utah Jazz are a slight favorite on the road against Atlanta and Mr. Head Flip himself, Trae Young. What do you think about that game?
I like Utah here. Atlanta just played last night. Utah's the better team as it is. Atlanta already played. They played the Nets. I know this line's moving in Utah's favor as well. I mean,
it's actually kind of moving in Atlanta's favor. It opened at 2, and it's down to 1.5.
Well, earlier this morning I saw it at like 1, or it was like a 50-50 game. I think Atlanta might even have been favored real early this morning, but it's not a lot to give up for Utah, so I will take Utah on the point, giving up the 1.5.
Why don't you just make them the straight up? Well, you can't. So you're going to take Utah -1.5. I was going to say, if you're going to go ahead and take them as the underdog. For me, this game is pretty close, Sean. I agree with you. I think Utah does win, but not by enough in terms of the percent of the simulator to go ahead and make that play. And I also think the game probably goes under, but again, not enough for me. A couple of weeks from now, both will be almost plays, especially the total would have been a play. But right now, it's not a play for me. And if you look at as far as the way the public is playing it, Sean, the majority of the tickets, 3/4 of the tickets are on Utah, the Jazz, but only 2/3 of the money. So a little bit of money fishing around on the Hawks. Most folks think the game is going to go over, and even more people put money on the game going over. Next up, Boston and Miami. This line is started at 7, and it's still at 7, but some places it's gone up more. So what do you think?
I think Miami here. I mean, Miami's been playing really good. We've talked about this. Boston's just kind of getting through the year. They'll make the run at the end. I think Miami should be able to dominate Boston here.
Are you going to take it or not?
Yes, I'm taking it.
I'm going to take it too, Sean. I have them winning this game handily, Miami. I don't know what's going on with Boston, but I have Miami winning by more than enough to cover it maybe twice, Sean.
I actually, this morning, I took an alternate spread giving up 19.5. Miami might roll, giving up 20. I put $10 on it. It was like plus 460 or something. It was pretty good value. So
there's no value in that, Sean. Sorry to bust your bubble, man. There's no value in what's likely to be a losing bet.
I expect them to blow them out.
Well, I hope they do, because we're going to lay 7.5. Well, 7, Sean, for -110. So I'm taking the Miami Heat to win that game and do so, as are you, -110, Sean. As far as the total is concerned, I have the game going over pretty handsomely too, but I don't like the double dip. In any sport that I do, the total in that spot, Sean, is 214.5. As far as the betting public is concerned, you have most of the money chasing the Miami Heat, about 70 cents on the dollar, 70% of the tickets. And most people think the game is going to go, well, they're putting their money on the under, but the tickets are 50-50. Houston and Phoenix. Phoenix did rise the other day, late in the game, taken over by CP3. Houston managed to almost beat the Lakers, but still figured out a way to lose at the end. Bad teams figure out how to lose. Good teams figure out how to win. Phoenix is a good team. They should win this game. That line is 10.5. Sean, what do you say?
I say it's probably too many points. I would lean Houston plus 10.5, but I'm not going to make that official because, I mean, how how bad of a beat was that for Pelicans backers the other night? I mean, you had 11.5 and you dominated the whole game. You know, you were leading the whole game in there. You were up 20 in the first half, and then you end up losing by half a point.
Sucks.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I'm not playing that game either. It's a 50-50 game based upon that line. The total is a little bit more than 50-50 that it goes under, but still not close enough for me. I don't know if the betting reflects that. So the betting on the Phoenix game against the Rockets, it's 50, almost 50-50 on the tickets, and a little bit slightly favoring, a little bit heavily more favoring the Rockets, about a little more than 56, 57 cents on the dollar facing the Rockets. So the public is split on that too. This game here is the line's moving pretty much aggressively. The Lakers have gone from, it was a little bit earlier in the day. It was down to, when I was looking at it, Lakers were favored by 10.5. Now it's back up to 14, 12, somewhere in that range. And LeBron's not playing, so maybe it doesn't reflect that LeBron is out.
Yeah, that's what I would say, because I have minus 10.5, and that did come down because of LeBron not playing. The problem is you don't want to back the Lakers without LeBron, but I don't want to back an Oklahoma City team that's not playing well and are just horrible.
Well, the funny thing is Oklahoma City has one win all year.
Yeah.
And you know who it's against?
The Lakers.
The Lakers.
Yeah, I know, but
so on the money line, Oklahoma. I mean, they beat him in LA. Why can't they beat him in Oklahoma City?
Well, this is in LA.
It is in LA. Never mind. It was in Oklahoma City.
It's plus 460.
I'm a little dyslexia in terms of looking at things.
It's plus 460 to do it. You're getting value, but I don't.
No, you're not. There's no value in using the bench. None. Zip zero nada.
You know, as soon as the ball tips off, anything can happen. You know. I
had the Lakers covering this game at a high rate, but that includes LeBron. So I haven't factored out LeBron yet. I think even without LeBron, the Lakers win the game. Whether they cover or not, I don't know. But one thing I do think they're going to do, both teams, the Lakers really aren't playing defense. That's for sure. In Oklahoma City, I don't know if they know what that means. I think the game goes over. Sean, what do you think?
It's possible, but Oklahoma City's offense is not very good sometimes. So.
Yeah,
that's the problem. They don't have very many.
You don't have to be very good if the other team doesn't play defense.
Yeah, and the Lakers are they're just being lazy at the beginning of the year with the veterans and stuff. They're just trying to get through it. And that's the other thing, too.
First of all, Westbrook doesn't play defense. Neither does Carmelo Anthony. Neither does LeBron James. I don't know what kind of defense Anthony Davis plays, but you name one guy on the Lakers that plays defense.
Yeah, and Westbrook struggles against Oklahoma City usually, too.
He doesn't play defense.
Yeah, so
what do you think? What's the total there? Because I have 215.
215.
Yes, I'm going to take 215 minus 110 on the over, Sean.
Yeah, it's probable. I would just be concerned. Sometimes OKC, they'll score 80-some points because they just can't shoot.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm going to be in another can't shoot straight game tonight, like I was the other day. So you got the most of the money is backing the Lakers, even at that big number. But most of the tickets are on the Thunder, so people don't really care about LeBron. And most of the tickets are on the under, but most of the money, a lot more of the money, is on the over. So it looks like I am the smart money tonight, Sean. Let's just hope. I don't want to be the smart money. I don't want to be the dumb money. I just want to be the winning money. I think that's kind of what we're all hoping for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Sure. Absolutely, for sure. All right, Sean, NHL. I'm not ready to make any NHL bets, are you?
No, not really. Maybe Ottawa over a struggling Vegas team, though. I mean, that's a 50-50 game. It's more than you love 50-50, and both teams are negative.
Well, this one's actually positive. You can get plus 110 on Ottawa at home against Vegas, the struggling Vegas squad.
Oh, well, then I'll take it.
There you go. Sean's going to take Ottawa to beat Vegas. So Vegas breaks out of their slump tonight. You can put that on the board as an L, baby.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, the one game I might look at, at some point Montreal's got to go back to form. They're a home favorite, a home underdog. Toronto against Tampa Bay. Yeah, I think you can make a case that Tampa Bay wins that game, but they play differently on the road than they do at home. Detroit and Boston, probably not. Washington, Florida, again, probably not. Maybe Washington could win it.
I was going to say Washington at plus 130 kind of looked attractive too.
Buffalo and Seattle. Seattle's playing much better than probably most people think. San Jose and St. Louis. Maybe San Jose at home, but yeah, I'm not ready to do hockey. I should be ready to get back to that next week.
San Jose, St. Louis probably goes over that total. Was it 5.5?
You think so?
Probably.
So do it.
All right, let's
do it.
Do it.
No, I'm not doing it. Hell no. I can't stand hockey right now. Hockey's mistreating me. You got to know.
That's right. You're not playing any hockey.
Not until I have about 10 games of every team in there. Hey, if somebody's mistreating you, you got to do something about it, right? So hockey's mistreating me. I'm doing something about it. I'm walking out on hockey for now. I'll be back. But in any case, Sean, any other things that you're looking at here?
No, like I said, I would lean the over in the San Jose St. Louis game. I'll probably look at it more and maybe place that bet later, but I'm not making it official.
For me, I got 2 spots tonight. I'm taking Miami laying the 7, laying a touchdown with the Heat against the Celtics. And then I'm going to take the over in the woeful Oklahoma City shooting versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Not because either team is going to be shooting it lights out from the 3-point over and 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 over again, but because neither team plays defense, so they should make a few along the way. That's it for me, Sean. Like I said, head on over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Get your picks for the Breeders' Cup. I did a lot of work. And I can tell you for certain that there's a lot of information in there. Might not pick the exact order, but I'll imagine there is a lot of winners in those 22 races or however many races across 2 days. I think it's 11, 20 races across 2 days that are all graded stakes races. So go ahead and check that out. Any final thoughts, Sean, before we get out of here and I can finally exhale?
No, I mean, the people interested, it starts tomorrow with the Breeders' Cup. So
24 hours from about now, the first Breeders' Cup races. So about 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. So a lot of horse racing too. So if you want to bet on that, read Rich's thing tonight and get ready for that. And then
and you can watch me probably live tomorrow.
Yeah, you can do that Friday, Saturday, and then play the NFL Sunday. So.
And then maybe are we going to do just NFL tomorrow? Or are we going to do?
We'll just do the NFL again tomorrow, I guess. As long as you can come on at 10:30 Eastern.
Yeah, I'll be fine coming on 10:30, somewhere around there. But one thing, maybe Saturday night, big UFC fight. You have the rematch between Colby Covington and God, I can't believe I can't remember the other guy's name right now. I know his name too. Let's see, Colby Covington versus.
Here, I'll get it here. Oh man, they show me all the fights. I gotta just.
That's the top one.
Yeah,
Usman, that's it. Usman. I can't believe I couldn't remember that. So that should be interesting. Usman is a huge favorite. The first fight was really close until the end, so I wouldn't be surprised. To me, there's some value on Colby Covington, but from watching his fights, he does have a big tell. If you watch his fights, a lot of times when he throws that overhand, he sticks his head down first. I wouldn't be surprised if Usman's ready for that with a kick, a knee, or an uppercut. But it should be an interesting fight. Last time it was a 50-50 fight. I think Usman's getting the big advantage because he's been active and Colby hasn't been active. That can make a big difference. Colby says he doesn't believe in ring rust. But I think if there's any value, Colby had a high plus line to me in a fight that last time out was 50-50. Until the very end when he got his jaw broke and they stopped the fight. But there was a couple points in that fight, if you watched it, where Usman got hit like right above the belt and they said it was a low blow. He was clearly hurt. And then when he was again hurt again, he poked Colby in the eye. So he had a couple of breaks from the officiating to kind of get him out of some tough spots. I feel like if Colby can put him in some tough spots, that plus line might be an okay bet. It's probably a fight that's 55-45 Usman's favor. But in a minus 300 is a lot more than that's like saying Colby has like a 1 in 5 chance or something of winning.
Yeah, Kobe's plus 250 on DraftKings. So, yeah, if it's those odds, it's definitely the right play.
I think so. I think, like I said, it's about 55-45 in favor of Usman. It's going to be an interesting fight because the two guys have a little bit of animosity, although this time around they've been kind of quiet, which if I were Usman, I would be a little worried about that Kobe's not being his normal brash self. But at the same time, maybe Kobe's a little bit afraid, and that's why he's not being his normal brash self. I don't really think that's the case with that kid.
This is one thing this degenerate right here does not really bet on. Only if it's the only thing on, and I got a little bit of extra money, and I just want to bet. But normally, I do not.
Well, I do think Colby at the 250 is, like I said, last fight, if you watch it, was 50-50. Both guys were hurt throughout the course of the first 4 rounds, and Colby got finished at the end, but. definitely Usman had a few breaks along the way with the punch to the midsection that clearly hurt him, that clearly wasn't low, and then the poke to the eyes when Kobe was definitely at that time gaining a good advantage. So check that out. It's going to be a fun fight. I can't wait to see that one. Then you got Canelo fighting against Caleb Plant on Saturday night too. Caleb Plant doesn't have the power to hold Canelo off. In order to beat a guy like Canelo, you have to be able to stun him. I don't see that happening. Canelo wins that fight, but he's probably minus like 600 or some crazy number.
I'm not seeing that one.
No. Any case, that's my fighting update for today, Sean.
Okay, good to know.
All right, my man. You have a good night. Any final thoughts before we get up and out here?
No, hopefully the Jets don't disappoint me tonight. They at least cover the 10.5, but ultimately I want them to win, but we'll see.
I think you got a better chance of them covering the 10.5.
Yeah, probably.
So if you have a winning bet and they lose, that's not.
It's the typical. It's your team. I wasn't that excited Sunday. Expected them to lose. They win. Now I'm excited.
Now you're all fired up, Mike White.
Yeah, now I'm fired up.
Yes.
And now they're going to lose.
He's Roger Staubach combined with Terry Bradshaw, combined with Joe Montana, combined with Tom Brady. I mean, none of those guys stand up to
that
Mike
guy
White.
Who bet $1,000 on Mike White leading the NFL in passing last week. Won $125,000, which was more than Mike White made the entire game. Mike White made $50,000.
Well, that's not bad work either from Mike White. All right, Sean. You have a great night. Hey, everybody check out the Breeders' Cup tomorrow. I'll be live for probably most of those races over at Horse Racing Radar TV on YouTube. Until we cut together tomorrow to talk about Week 9 in the NFL, Sean, as always, may all your tickets be winners and stuff your pockets full of
cash.
Absolutely. We'll see you later. We'll see you tomorrow, Sean.
Yeah.